Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
All right, let's take it from the top again. Places. Action.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Join us for another voyage back in time on Classic Radio Rewind. From adventures to westerns, from comedy to sci-fi, this is your ticket to Theater of the Mind. Without any further ado, here's your host for Classic Radio Rewind, Barry Slinker.
Thank you, Dex Rowe, and hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Classic Radio Rewind. I'm Barry Slinker, and I will be your host for the next 2 hours as we continue our salute, if you will, to Halloween this month. Later, we'll hear from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater from 1974, followed by Our Miss Brooks from 1949. And lastly, we'll hear from Quiet Please from 1948. But starting things off this week is an episode from Philco Radio Time with special guest Boris Karloff. Boris Karloff was the go-to guest for variety show Halloween episodes. Here, he's the guest of Bing Crosby, and he and Bing actually sing together, along with comedian Victor Moore. So from October 29th in 1947, this is Philco Radio Time with Halloween Pranks starring Boris Karloff.
Trotter and his orchestra, the Rhythmaires, and Bing's guests, Victor Moore, Boris Karloff, and Gail Robbins. Now, with Halloween time upon us, we bring you Philco's little hobgoblin with eyes of blue and a pumpkin, too, Bing Crosby.
Hey, listen here. That was a libelous introduction if I've ever heard one. My brother Everett will call on you in the morning.
I'll be glad to see you.
I'll have you know that I've been exercising and I've got rid of my little pumpkin.
No, you haven't really gotten rid of it, Bing. You just moved it around and back.
So that's where it is. I had an idea somebody was following me all day. It's part of my equipment, huh? Well, but getting back to Halloween, that's sure a great time of the year.
Yes, it is. You know, Bing, I've carved a very funny face out of a pumpkin.
So I noticed.
Cross!
Hey, Ken, you remember when we were on craft together and we had to carve our jack-o'-lanterns out of Velveeta?
What do you think Jolson and I have been doing all week?
Carving. Everyone's getting ready for Halloween. There's a lot of excitement buzzing over at the Crosby Chateau.
Really?
Oh, yes. Gary's carving a jack-o'-lantern, and Lindsay's carving a jack-o'-lantern. The twins are carving each other. And even the moose. You know, my moose is getting ready for the big boogie night. Yeah, he's going to a masquerade party.
Oh, fine. What sort of a costume is your moose wearing?
Well, I think he's putting rubber gloves on his antlers, and he's going as Dr. Kildare. It'll be a smash. And now if I can call on Dr. Trotter and the Rhythmaires, avec costumes. Oh, they're all smartly dressed tonight. Really turned out you look much better than the 6 hits in the mist. Now, if I can call on Dr. Trotter and the Rhythmaires, and we got them all standing by here just quivering at the leash, ready to leap into the rhythm. We'll head for the hill country. We're going to stir up a little feuding, fighting, and a fussing. Yes, sir. Well. Well, Al Dexter's with us. Beyond the busy highway,
your lady.
Beyond the city strife,
your lady.
I thought Judy Canova was on Saturday night. We highly treasure and take great pleasure in our play of love. You may come in. Feuding, a fussing, and a fighting. Sometimes it gets downright exciting. Don't like them ornery neighbors down by the creek. Well, we'll be plumb out of neighbors next week. Grandma, poor old Grandma. Why'd they have to shoot poor Grandma?
Shot her dead.
She lies 'neath the clover. Seems they caught her bending over, reaching for the fatback, shooting, a fussing and a fighting. This is a wrong that needs a righting. Let's get that funeral service over, so then we'll go feuding and fighting again.
Fighting and feuding and a fussing. That's all that's going on with us.
We are such neighborly people, peaceful and sweet, all except when we happen to meet. Daughter, baby daughter, pies and all the neighbors' chickens.
Daughter, shouldn't daughter.
Least till she could run like the Dickens. They hit her with a stage brace.
Fighting and feuding and a fussing.
Laid it right on her, yes.
No use to standing here a cussing.
Let's give our daughter a pistol now that she's 4 and go feuding and fighting some more.
Fighting and feuding and a fussing.
We ain't a fooling.
What did that stranger walk with us?
Well, you don't know him?
He was a revenue agent. Yep, he was until the boys had to chuck him in a still.
Liquor, mountain liquor.
It's better now, it kicks you much quicker. Moonshine, moonshine, has a glow that gets you much sicker. What do you hear from your ulcer? This ain't no corner you can brighten. Load up my double-barrel shotgun, I'm getting the end to go feuding and a fussing, feuding and a fighting, feuding and a fighting again.
Bing and Rhythm Airs. That was slick as a greased ice cube. You know, I bet it sounded especially fine to the folks who were listening in on Philco's.
If you listen to this program on any other set but a Philco, I come out sounding like Hildegard.
Well, is that bad?
That's grand. That's grand. But I want people to hear gravelly a little bit of old me. And incidentally, Carp, you have just committed radio's cardinal sin.
What did I do?
You started this whole thing by admitting there are other radios than Philco's on the market.
Well, I didn't mention any other names, did I?
In this racket, you don't have to. The mere fact that you admit that we have competitors constitutes a schism.
Oh.
Go ahead, Ken. Start talking fast and talk Philco, boy.
With pleasure, Bing. You know, Philco has no competitor when it comes to the easiest way to play records ever invented. Only Philco gives you this new automatic way to play records. All play, no work. Just slide your record in, and it plays. You'll find this exclusive Philco invention now on 3 different Philco models. On a new, inexpensive console, the 1260, on a table model, the famous 1201, the world's largest-selling radio phonograph. And it's even portable, too. Yes, now you can take it with you with Philco's new 1200 automatic record player. Whichever model you want, give this unique invention a whirl at your Philco dealer. It's made by the world's largest radio manufacturer, Philco, famous for quality the world over.
Mr. Jack Mass, exploitation coordinator for the Italian-American Publishing Company, whose president is Mr. Frank Sinatra, has long belabored me with copies of the firm's new song. I sing this now with a double purpose. I shall make character with Mr. Sinatra, and I shall get rid of Mr. Mass. Ain't you ever coming back, ain't you? Can't you see the difference it makes? I'm half myself without your kisses. One more night of doing without 'em will drive me crazy. Won't you make me smile again? Won't you? Just a word is all that it takes. Your hello will let me know that we're the same as we used to be. Oh, ain't you ever coming back to me?
Ain't you ever coming back? Ain't you? Can't you see the difference it makes?
I'm half myself without your kisses. One more night of doing without 'em will drive me crazy. Won't you make me smile again? Won't you? Just a word is all that it takes. Your hello will let me know that we're the same as we used to be. Oh, ain't you ever coming back to me?
Ain't you ever coming back to me?
The first of Philco's guests to show up this evening is a gentleman who for many years has been the most lovable and heartwarming comedian ever to waddle across the stage or the screen. It's a genuine pleasure to roll out the carpet for the very distinguished actor, Mr. Victor Moore.
Thank you, Bing, for that wonderful introduction. If I'd known you were going to call me very distinguished, I'd have worn my good conduct ribbon.
Victor, I didn't know you were an Army man. Where did you get a good conduct ribbon?
It was given to me by Lee.
Robert E.?
Gypsy Rose. Of course, if she'd met me 40 years ago, I might not have gotten it.
Oh, I'll bet you were a tiger with the girlies back in those days, huh?
Oh, I was a scalawag first class. Beautiful hunk of man Vic, they used to call me.
Is that right?
I was the original.
Oh, yeah? Well, that was back at the turn of the century.
Yes, darn it. I wish it had never turned. I'm not the man I used to be.
Don't let it throw you, Vic. If long skirts and bustles can come back, maybe you can, too.
Bang, it's a much longer haul back for me than it was for them. Why, my last picture, one scene called for me to kiss a girl. Do you know something?
What?
The director had to call in a stuntman to do it for me.
I don't. Don't tell me a stuntman is really necessary.
Yeah, they had to do it to save time. Nowadays, when I get hold of a girl, I won't let go.
Ah, but Victor, at least you have your memories.
Ah, yes, my memories. What wonderful times I had.
You really lived, huh?
Yes. I wish that I could have had them transcribed so I could release them at this more convenient hour.
Say, look, stick around for a while, Victor. Boris Karloff's dropping in, and we're going to set up a Halloween party. Would you join us, maybe?
Oh, I'd love to, Bing. Halloween's so much fun, you know. When I see those witches fly by, I get an irrepressible urge to fly right after them.
Well, don't you try it. I don't think you get that fuselage off the ground.
Yeah. Don't I know it? I have trouble getting it along the ground.
I got that beat. I do all my walking on tiptoe, Vic. But come, you're not so old now.
No,
really.
Just how old would you say I am?
Oh, I'd say you're around 60.
I'm not much around the waist, man. You may not believe this, but I go back to the days when Mickey Rooney was just a kid.
Oh, well, that's before my time, Vic.
Yeah.
Well, gee, the way you talk, a fellow would think you're older than Jolson.
Nobody is.
No,
Jolson was singing on one knee while I was still crawling on both of mine.
Yeah, but he's a pretty amazing fella, that Jolie. He's going great. Still going great. Got a show of his own now, you know, and a good show, too.
Yeah, Al's back singing on one knee again. I'm right back on both of mine.
Ah, but he's a great man. What a man, that Jolson. He's going to outlive us all. And I include Margaret O'Brien. While we're on the subject of singers, Vic, I would like you and the folks to meet a young lady who's younger than Jolson, and whether Jolson will admit it or not, she's much prettier. Miss Gail Robbins.
Thank you, Bing.
Gail, may I present Victor Moore?
Mr. Moore, it's really a pleasure to finally meet you. You know, my grandmother has a picture of you in her album.
She does?
Yes. You are a beautiful hunk of man, Vic, aren't you?
Oh, yes. You see, Bing, I'm the original.
Imagine this, you're knowing Gail's grandma and everything. I'll be diddly. It's a small world, isn't it?
You know, Mr. Moore, every time Grandmother looks at that picture of you in your bathing suit, she insists the Studebaker people stole their design from you.
They didn't steal it. I made a beautiful book modeling for that car.
Gail, this is your first visit on Philco Radio Time, as the sponsor likes to call it, so perhaps you'd better acquaint the people with your pipes.
Oh, I'd love to, Bing.
And your selection?
I've got a right to sing the blues.
She's got a right to sing the blues.
Well, Gail, here's the microphone. Over yonder is John Scott Trotter. Though you'll have to take my word for it, there's a 30-piece orchestra directly in back of him.
I got a right to sing the blues. I got a right to feel low down. I got a right to hang around, down around the river. A certain man in this old town keeps dragging my poor heart around. All I see for me is misery. I got a right to sing the blues. I got a right to moan and sigh. I got a right to sit and cry down around the river. I know the deep blue sea will soon be calling me. It must be love, say what you choose. I got a right to sing the blues. I know the deep blue sea will soon be calling me. Say what you choose. I got a right to sing the blues.
Thank you, Gail. That was sung with great feeling and understanding. You may take 2 giant steps. Now, taking up my emceeing cudgels once again, allow me to introduce one of Flicker Corner's finest actors, a gentleman who has raised more hairs than a mother rabbit, Mr. Boris Karloff. Boris, you're looking great. Brown as a berry.
Thank you, Bing. I've been down in Palm Springs.
What'd you go out to the desert for? You can get a lot of sunshine right here in town. You know, they're flying it in from Maine with the lobsters.
Oh, but I just had to get away from Hollywood, Bing. My nerves are completely shattered.
Well, you had the jitters, huh?
Yeah, I've been working in the picture with Danny Kaye.
I meant to tell you I caught DeMille's epic. You know the picture Unconquered? I saw it last week, and I must tell you, you made a pretty sharp Indian chief.
Thank you, Bing. But having to run around with all the feathers stuck in my head, I felt like Hedda Hopper.
Well, I enjoyed your performance anyhow. You were very convincing as an Indian.
Well, I must have been. I've been invited to pose as the man of distinction by the makers of Kickapoo Joy Juice.
That old Kickapoo or young Kickapoo?
Medium Kickapoo.
That ought to be quite than that. See, I think Hope is going to pose for some of those ads. He's going to be dressed as a washwoman, and he's wringing the juice out of Colonna's mustache.
I wish you hadn't mentioned Mr. Hope's name, though. He frightens me.
He sends... Well, he sends chills up and down my spine, too, Borlis. But what's your beef?
Well, I'm afraid of any man who runs around in public with a plastic nose glued on.
Say, fellas.
Oh, Victor, we got to talking here, and I forgot all about you.
Oh, hello, Victor.
Hello, Boris. Say, fellas, what are you standing around talking about Bob Hope for? It's Halloween. Let's go out and burn his house down.
Why, Victor, you little imp. I didn't know Halloween meant so much to you.
Oh, yes. Halloween always brings out the fiend in me.
Look who's a fiend.
Oh, I really am, Boris. You see, it all goes back to my childhood. When I was a boy, I used to sneak in the back door of the butcher shop and feel wet liver. Come on, let's go out and scare people. Come on.
Well, I'll go with you, but I'll be bored to tears.
Well, I can't go, fellas. I promised my mother she wouldn't have to bail me out this year.
Oh, your mother won't know about this. I know where there's a great big wooden fence we can pull down.
Yeah? Where is it?
Around the Gilmore Stadium.
I really don't think... I don't know, huh?
Well, gee, can't we even go out and stick pins in doorbells?
Well, I guess it's all right if we do that.
Stick pins in doorbells? What's the fun in that? Stick 'em in people.
Now you're talking.
Oh, no.
Then we'll stab 'em with Hope's nose. Let's do something.
Yeah, then let's get some false faces and scare people.
Oh, you and Boris get some. I'm all set the way I am.
Oh, I've got a wonderful mask at home. Makes me look like Peter Lorre.
Listen, fellas, if you think you can scare people anymore, you're kidding yourself. It's getting so tough now, practically every member of the National Association of Hobgoblins, Ghosts, and Witches, you know what they've done? They've given up Halloween for making monkey shines.
They have,
Yeah.
Bing? Oh, this is distressing.
Personally, I think it's an excellent idea. But what made them do it?
Well, they sent in a song here. I got it right here. Explains the whole thing. There's a copy here for each one of us, and we'll blend our voices in mellifluous harmony. We can dish it out to everybody, huh?
Oh, goody. The three of us are going to sing, huh?
This may be more frightening than my Lorre mask.
Phantom. I'm a goblin.
I'm a very wicked ghost.
But conditions are the worst we've ever seen.
When we look at all the headlines that they print from coast to coast,
we're afraid to leave the house this Halloween.
When the kids came home from school on roller skates or wagons,
it was sport to follow them and make a noise like dragons.
Now the kids in rocket ships go roaring through the clouds. Oh, I tell you, we are shaking in our shrouds.
I'm a demon. I'm a werewolf.
I'm a snapping, snarling spook.
And it used to be a pleasure to be mean.
But if children love that groaning from a box they call the juke.
We won't leave our haunted house this Halloween.
Well, gentlemen, that was really very well sung, and you're so right.
What do you mean, Ken? Said he, knowing full well what to expect.
Well, Bing, this year it's really tough on spooks all over. Philco has just thrown a block on the spooks that haunt phonograph records. You know, those pixelated little people that hiss, hum, squeak, and snore through the solo parts and muffle up violins and voices. Well, you never hear a peep out of them anymore when your records are played with Philco's new electronic scratch eliminator. This brand new device from the Philco laboratories lets you hear all the words and music. Banishes needle scratch and surface noise from any phonograph record, old or new. No hiss, no squeak, no scratch. It's all music with a blissful background of silence. Take a couple of your records you like best to your Philco dealer now. He'll be glad to demonstrate the Philco electronic scratch eliminator on the Philco 1270 radio phonograph, along with the whole works in radio, including Philco Advanced FM. Go hear the Philco 1270, the last word in radio phonographs from Philco, the leader.
Recently, I waxed a tune with Fred Waring and his fine vocal organization, the Yale Whiffenproof Song. Now, we'd like to have Fred's great group with us tonight, but it's impossible. The expense involved, of course, is of no importance to us. It's merely that we shrink from tying up the nation's transportation facilities for a protracted period. I shall go it alone. You'll do anything when you transcribe. Anything. To the tables down at Morris, to the place where Louis dwells, to the dear old Temple Bar we love so well. Sing the Whiffenpoofs assembled with their glasses raised on high, and the magic of their voices casts its spell. Yes, the magic of their singing, of the songs we love so well. Shall I wasting and the warning and the rest? We will serenade our Louis while life and voice shall last. Then we'll pass and be forgotten with the rest. We're poor little lambs who have lost our way. Ba, ba, ba. We're little black sheep who have gone astray. Ba, ba, ba. Gentlemen songsters off on a spree, doomed from here to eternity. Lord, have mercy on such as we. Ba, ba, It's about time to close shop for tonight. Before locking the door, I want to thank Boris Karloff, Victor Moore, and Gail Robbins for being with us.
It's a pleasure, Bing.
Yeah, for me too, Bing. But, Boris, I'm very unhappy with you. You haven't said one spooky thing all night.
Vic's right, Boris. You've been pretty docile. Can't you get just a little sinister before you go?
Well, I might invite all of you over to my house for the Halloween party. I'm going to serve a delicacy of my very own.
What's that?
Frozen blood on a stick.
Oh, boy, plasma sickles.
Say, if it comes in burnt almond, I may join you, kid.
Say, Bing, who are your guests next week?
Well, it'll be family night, Gail. The Nelsons are dropping in, Ozzie and Harriet. Ozzie says he's got something very important that he wants to talk to me about.
I'll be sure to eavesdrop.
By all means do. And good night, Gail.
Good night, Bing.
Good night, Boris and Victor.
Good night.
Good night, Bing.
Good night, folks, and thanks.
Was produced and transcribed in Hollywood by Bill Morrow and Murdo McKenzie. Tune in to Philco Radio Time next week and hear Bing Crosby, John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, the Rhythmaires, and Bing's guests, Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Hilliard. And don't forget, friends, this week the entire radio industry is celebrating National Radio Week.
Was the Philco Radio Time starring Boris Karloff with Halloween Pranks, as originally heard October 29th, 1947. Next up is the CBS Radio Mystery Theater, hosted by E.G. Marshall. In this timeless story by Oscar Wilde, a ghost makes numerous attempts to scare away the new inhabitants of his castle, only to become a source of comedy and entertainment. So from April 15th, 1974, it's the CBS Radio Mystery Theater in The Canterville Ghost.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to a world we all inhabit too little. The world of imagination. Our own. Yours and mine. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a ghost? Well, one of this earth's greatest writers did, Oscar Wilde. And having let his imagination play with the idea, he set down his findings in a ghost story that ranks with the world's finest, the classic tale of the Canterville Ghost. And if by chance you should think that a ghost's life is all wine and roses, why then listen to what went on one night at Canterville Castle.
Blood! I must have blood. And when I say blood, I do not mean a drop or two. I mean gallons. Or am I not Gaunt Gibeon, the bloodsucker of Bexley Moor? Blood! Oh, give me blood!
Blood, my foot! What you need is some oil for those rusty chains.
Our mystery drama, The Canterville Ghost, was especially adapted from the Oscar Wilde classic for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Arnold Moss. Our story takes place in Canterville Castle, ancestral home of the de Canterville family since the 15th century. You immediately assume, I have no doubt, that the castle is in England. Well, it isn't. It was, but it isn't anymore. For you see, that well-known multimillionaire Hiram Otis had it dismantled, stone by stone, transported to the United States, and re-erected, stone by stone, on his own estate in the Midwest. So it is that one fine afternoon, we find him, Hiram, and his wife Martha, and his lovely daughter Virginia, and Geoffrey de Canterville, her fiancé, in the newly restored library of the newly erected castle of the Cantervilles.
Well, Mr. Otis, I hope you're satisfied with the job I've done. Canterville Castle re-erected, lock, stock, and barrel, even to the ancestral gardens which surround it.
Well, the castle's okay, but I don't know about the gardens. The guy I hired to be the general manager when we opened the place as a tourist resort says the pool ought to be where you put the pine woods.
But, Daddy, that's the exact area where the pine woods were. In England.
Oh, well, Ginny, dear, tourists won't know that.
But that was part of the deal when Daddy bought the castle from Jeff and hired him to re-erect it here, that nothing would be changed.
Well, business is business. If it'll be more convenient for tourists to have the pool where the pine woods are... Yeah. Now, what's this?
Well, you know what that is, Mr. Otis. It's the blood stain. That's the spot in front of the fireplace where Sir Simon de Canterville stabbed his wife to death way back in 1601.
I told you I wanted it removed.
And I told you it can't be removed.
You got any Otis bathroom cleanser around, Jeff?
Yes, of course, in the cleaning closets. You told me to stock it.
Get a can of it.
But, Mr. Otis, really...
Otis bathroom cleanser is guaranteed to get rid of any stain, and it'll get rid of this one. Go on, give me a can of it.
Good heavens, that vase! Oh, dear, it fell off the mantelpiece.
No, it didn't fall off, Mrs. Otis. It was knocked off, I'd say, by Sir Simon de Canterville.
The ghost?
Yes, I'm afraid he doesn't like the idea of removing that bloodstain. However, I'll get the cleanser.
Him and his ghost. Do you think I was born yesterday?
Jeff wouldn't lie to you, Daddy? and if he says the castle's haunted, then...
Now, look, Ginny. Just because this fortune hunter fiancé of yours, Lord Geoffrey Canterville, believes in ghosts, doesn't mean I have to.
Daddy, if you call Jeff a fortune hunter once more, just once more...
Okay, honey. I'm sorry. All I want is your happiness, sweetie. And if he'll make you happy, fine.
Here we are, Mr. Otis. A fresh can of Otis bathroom cleanser.
All right, let me have it. Now watch. I spray it on the bloodstain. You bring a cloth to wipe it off with?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. Use my handkerchief. Now, one wipe, so. Where's your bloodstain now?
Oh, Hiram, it's gone.
What else? An Otis guarantee is an Otis guarantee.
It will come back.
Not after an Otis cleanser treatment, it won't.
What was that? Oh, what is it?
It's the ghost again, Mrs. Otis.
No, it was the wind, something.
But there isn't any wind.
Well, there was something else, but not a ghost. I just plain don't believe in ghosts, and that's the end of that.
Well, if you ask me, Mr. Otis, it's only the beginning.
Eleanor! Oh, blast the woman, where is she?
Here, Simon, dear. Here I am.
Get the paint bucket. We have to repaint the stain.
Again?
I promise you, however often Mr. Hiram Otis erases my bloodstain...
My bloodstain, dear.
Oh, all right, yours. But you wouldn't have had it if it hadn't been for me. You do forgive me.
Oh, my dear, I have forgiven you at least once every 100 years since it happened. I should not be here otherwise.
And the least I can do is to see that your stay here remains peaceful by giving that barbarous American his comeuppance. Fear not, my dearest love. It is Sir Simon de Canterville, me, against Mr. Hiram Otis, him. And I truly believe there's little doubt as to the outcome of the battle.
A blue bloodstain? What do you mean a blue bloodstain?
Just what I say, Mr. Otis.
The stain's reappeared, and this time it's blue, Daddy.
Now, look, I don't know what you two are up to.
Up to?
For your information, the boss painter who's redecorating the upstairs bedrooms complained that somebody's stealing his paints.
And you think that Jeff and I would...
Who else?
But why would you think that?
Because the way I see it...
Yes? How do you see it?
Well, I don't know how I see it. All I know is it doesn't make sense. And we better start making some sense around here because we open in a week. Now get rid of that stain. Once and for all, get rid of it.
Do you realize that I have repainted that bloodstain by the fireplace 4 separate times, and each time that meddling American has had it removed?
I should think you'd want to forget it. After all, it's a reminder of why you are doomed to haunt Canterville Castle. Oh, dear, and I with you.
But you are not. You can leave any time you wish, Eleanor.
Oh, Simon, not without you.
Oh, my dear. Was ever man so loved by woman as I by you?
Or I by you.
And yet, I killed you.
Because you loved me.
Well, however you put it, I condemned us both to eternal misery. Well, it shall be misery in peace. For nearly 400 years I've haunted Canterville Castle without hindrance. Yet what that vile upstart has put us through in the past 3 years, tearing down the castle around our heads, building it up again around our heads, and the noise. And now he means to turn it, my castle, into what they call a tourist attraction. Never!
My dearest, what can you do?
That beastly American must be driven out. And his family with him. I know. Let me see what I have in the way of grisly costumes. Yes. I think this should do the trick quite neatly.
Which is it?
Gaunt Gibeon, the bloodsucker of Bexley Moor.
Oh, that's smashing.
Jeff, I won't let you get married till you get a job.
But, Daddy, Jeff doesn't need a job. He has all the money you paid him for Canterville Castle.
Have you? Have you, Jeff?
You know I haven't, Mr. Otis.
But obviously Ginny doesn't. You didn't tell her.
Tell her what, Otis?
Yes, what?
Well, tell her.
Ginny, I'm afraid that just about every cent your father paid for Canterville went to pay off back taxes, liens, mortgages, interest payments, and the Lord only knows what.
Oh, Jeff.
Well, don't you see, that's why I sold Canterville in the first place. I had to. I couldn't keep it up anymore. I had no choice. It was sell or lose everything.
So you see, he's broke. Flat busted.
Now, just a moment. I have the promise of a job, Mr. Otis, a top-flight architectural firm in New York.
The promise of a job? Now, look, Jeff, there'll be no marriage until... What's that?
I don't know.
I'm afraid I do. It's the Canterville ghost.
The ghost?
Come on, Jeff. Come on now. Aren't these tricks of yours getting just a little childish?
Now, Mr. Otis, believe me, this is no act. It's the real thing. Whenever the ghost moans like this, it means he's going to put in an appearance. And I've seen some of those appearances. Now, Mrs. Otis, Ginny, you'd better come with me.
Oh, where to?
Well, anywhere but here. I'm not afraid of the ghost myself. He's never done me any harm, but his appearance can be positively ghastly. And you'd better not see it, either of you.
No, I'm staying here.
What?
I've been hoping to see him, Jeff.
Hoping to see the ghost?
Yes, Mother.
Oh, dear.
Somehow, I have a feeling I won't be afraid of him. Don't ask me why. I can't explain the feeling. I just know I won't be.
Of course you won't. Jeff let you in on his little gag. But I suppose I'm to be scared to death, huh?
Oh, but Daddy, there is a ghost. You've got to believe it.
Oh!
Look!
Oh, my heavens!
Blood! I must have blood!
He's got to be kidding.
When I say blood, I do not mean a drop or two. I mean gallons. For am I not Gaunt Gibeon, the bloodsucker of Bexley Moor? Blood!
Blood, my foot. What you need is some oil for those rusty chains. And I just happen to have a can of Otis all-purpose here in this desk drawer.
Cringe, thou knave! Grovel in abject fear before me.
Here's that can of Otis oil.
Oh!
Oh, knock off the screaming. You got nothing to scream about, because believe me, this oil will do the trick for those chains of yours.
Leave off! about ruining my chain?
Daddy, stop it. Leave him alone.
And another squirt right
Daddy,
here.
stop it. Give me that can.
Here now.
Leave him alone. Can't you see how unhappy he is?
No, no, look, Jenny, any guy tries to pull a gag on me...
This is no
like
gag, no trick. This is misery. Oh, look at his face. Look into his eyes. He's in agony. I've never felt so sorry for anyone in my life.
You feel sorry for me?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
No one has felt sorry for me in over 370 years.
I do.
Well, you frighten me. Oh, no, you can't be. You couldn't be. No. Not the Golden Girl.
Oh, come on, you two. Stuff it. Nice little act, but just a little creaky in spots.
You clod! You lout! You poltroon! Is it thus you'd taunt a noble lord of Canterville? Hear me, then. I sought but to warn you hence by harrowing up your soul. But there's another way to be rid of you. Death!
No,
No, please, I beg you, don't kill him, don't!
For thine own sake, then, child, be warned and get thee hence. I am Simon of Canterville, am easy wrought into murderous rage. So be gone, be gone, be gone.
Do you believe now that he's a real ghost?
I sure do.
I guess we'd better do what he wants us to do, Otis. Let's leave the castle.
Oh, no.
Are you saying that you won't do
You bet I am. I paid a fortune for this joint. I'd rather die than see that money go down the drain. Oh, no. I'll tear this damn castle down again, stone by stone, before he gets the satisfaction of seeing me run. You hear that, Buster? Stone by stone.
It certainly appears that for once, for the first time in nearly 400 years, the ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville has met his match. What happens, you may ask, when ancient English ghost meets eyeball to eyeball with modern American business tycoon? We'll learn more when I return shortly with Act Two.
Here's a tip from your Better Business Bureau. Sickness and accident insurance can protect you in many ways. Why not get professional advice for the best plan for your family?
Now, really, you know, Sir Simon de Canterville, or rather I should say the ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville, can't be blamed for threatening to kill Hiram Otis. After all, it is his castle, or it was, and, well, how would you feel if you'd lived somewhere for nearly 400 years, only to have someone you'd never seen before threaten to tear the place down, stone by stone? No, you really can't blame him for being in a towering rage.
Eleanor! I shall rend him limb from limb.
Oh, Simon, perhaps we ought to leave the Americans in peace.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, darling, please.
I say no.
No, Simon, please. Don't make me speak severely to you.
Severely?
Well, truthfully, it's quite possible you've lost your ability to frighten people.
Lost my ability to frighten people?
Yes, dear. You are but a ghost of your former self.
Just what do you mean?
Well, I very much fear that you're growing stale. And in the parlance of the day, why, you simply can't hack it anymore.
Hack it? Not able to hack it? Me?
Oh, Simon, come now. Were you not reduced to using brute force? You, who through all these centuries have prided yourself on the artistry of your hideous disguises. Why, you failed to frighten a mere mortal. And Simon, an American at that.
Well, he's a clod. Altogether too stupid to have even a semblance of nerves.
Is that thunder?
I think so. It just occurs to me. I've always been at my best during a thunderstorm.
True enough.
And tonight, to judge from that sky out there, will be a night of elemental fury. A perfect background for haunting. I shall outdo myself this night. I shall employ a disguise so horrible, so fiendish. Something guaranteed to drive the churl out of his skull.
What?
Yes. That is the question. What shall it be?
Oh, I have every confidence that you, my sweet, will create a costume that every ghost in England, in the world, would give his winding sheet to possess.
Oh, you are too kind, altogether too kind. But let me think. Aha.
Oh, you have it?
Yes. You, my darling, have given me a thought. Winding sheet. That is the ticket.
A winding sheet?
Of course. I have an excellent one. Very old, very moldy. The one with the frilled cuffs and neck.
But of course, do go on.
I will wear that and take with me my rusty dagger. I shall approach the room moaning and groaning in a most gruesome fashion. When I enter it, I shall stand over them in the form of a green, icy, cold corpse till they're all but paralyzed with fear. And then I shall cast off the winding sheet and crawl around the room with white, bleached bones and one rolling eyeball.
Oh, Simon, dear, you have outdone yourself.
I dare say even you will agree I can still cut the mustard, my dear.
Oh, you can, you have. What of the girl, the American's daughter?
Oh, she must go in peace. I touch her not.
Why so?
Because... Well, my dear, you will scarcely believe this, but not only did I fail to frighten her, but she said she felt sorry for me.
She said that?
Yes. And she looked at me when she said it with eyes... Well, Eleanor, her eyes were filled with sympathy and pity and... Yes, love.
Oh, Simon... Could she be the Golden Girl?
I should like to think so, but I fear not, my love. It's too much to ask. Much too much. But I must to work. The night approaches and the storm. I promise you, that within a few short hours I shall reduce the cold-blooded Hiram Otis to a mindless mess.
Why have you brought me here, Jeff? I've never seen this part of the castle before.
It's a hidden passage, or it once was. As to why I brought you here, well, it seems to me every time I want to be alone with you, your father shows up, or your mother, and... Oh, Ginny, I do want to talk to you.
Yes?
Ginny, marry me.
But, Jeff, dear, I'm going to. You know that.
No, I mean now. Tonight.
Tonight?
Yes, let's get in my car, drive to town, find a justice of the peace, and get married.
But, darling, we don't have a license.
Oh, we'll get one.
How?
I don't know, but we will. I'll manage it somehow.
Jeff, this is the United States, not England. Things are done differently here. And anyway, there's no sense discussing it because I just can't go against my father's wishes.
Oh, you don't have to be afraid of him.
Afraid? Darling, I'm not afraid of him. I love him. I know what you think. That he's hard and domineering and ruthless and a lot of other things, but you know, inside, he's not that way at all.
Perhaps not. Unfortunately, I only know him from the outside.
But as time goes by, you'll learn to know him better, and you'll see...
Ginny, you're not a child. You're a woman. I need you, Ginny. I want you.
Jeff, please, darling, no.
Ginny, please.
Jeff.
Blood! I must have blood!
Oh, no, not tonight. Not now.
And when I say blood, I don't mean a drop or two of blood. I mean gallons of blood.
It's him. It's the ghost.
Who else?
How to drive that churl Hiram Otis out of his mind. Oh, misery. Oh, agony. Oh.
He went right by us. He never saw us.
Yes, I know. Now let's follow him and see what he's up to.
Oh, horror, hideous horror. Hark ye to the horrifying moans of the vampire monk. Oh!
My parents' bedroom. He's gone in there.
Hark ye to the horrifying moans of the vampire monk or the bloodless Benedictine.
Who's there?
The vampire monk. See, I bend over you, a green, icy corpse. Watch as I crawl around the room with white bleached bones and one rolling eyeball.
What are you doing on the floor?
Huh?
Oh, why, you're the ghost, aren't you? Well, please now, could you be just a bit more quiet? My husband has had a very tiring day and he needs a sleep, and you're certainly going to wake him up sooner or later with all that moaning and groaning.
Well, I am a ghost. I'm haunting you.
All right, but please do it quietly.
You ride and ridicule me, would you?
Oh, but please, you
then
misunderstand.
Pay for it. Aye, woman, pay with thy heart's blood. You've seen your daughter for the last time on this earth. For the last time.
Jeff, he means me.
No, darling, he can't if he didn't see us following him.
I have seen you. I saw you there in the secret passage, but was too busy with other matters to be bothered with you. I saw you following me. From the back of my head, I saw you. Stand aside, Geoffrey de Canterville. I take your beloved with me into the next world.
Oh, no, you don't.
I warn you. You're a Canterville, and I would do you no harm, but stand in my way, and I will place on you, as I already have on them, the Canterville curse.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Stand aside, I say. Stand aside.
Wait.
Yes?
If you wish to take me into the next world, all right, go ahead. But leave Geoffrey alone. Leave my parents alone. Don't harm them.
You would give your life for them?
If I must.
Ginny, no.
Ginny! Oh, Ginny! Geoffrey! She's gone, vanished!
Yes.
What does it mean? Oh, good Lord, what does it mean?
What? What does what mean? What's going on here?
Hiram, that ghost, he's taken Ginny. He's taken her with him into the next world.
Oh, come on now.
It's the truth. In heaven's name, Mr. Otis, wake up to the truth. The ghost of Simon de Canterville has taken Ginny out of this world and into his own. And you'll never see her again. And I'll never see her again.
What the devil are you talking about?
It's the curse of the Cantervilles. The ghost placed the curse on you tonight. Oh, what lies ahead for you, Mr. Otis?
Yeah? What does lie ahead for me?
I can't even begin to tell you. And even if I could, I wouldn't dare.
Strange sort of ghost, Sir Simon de Canterville. At one moment, he's almost gentle, tender, and the next, in a towering rage. He acts almost like us humans, doesn't he? And like us humans, he may have jumped from the frying pan into the fire in abducting Virginia Otis. We'll find out shortly when I return with Act 3.
The American Optometric Association says vision is our most important possession.
Yes, I find seeing very important to me.
Had a vision examination lately?
I take you now down a short flight of wide stone steps, somewhere in the nether regions of Canterville Castle. Steps stained by centuries of dampness. It is a place where rats and beetles might scuttle about, in and among the bleached bones of a skeleton which lies on the stone floor. Poor skeleton. One of its hands manacled, claws towards the remains of a bowl, which once held food. A door opens. A light appears on the steps, and Sir Simon de Canterville sweeps down the steps, dragging Virginia Otis after him. He flings her to the floor.
Here lie my bones. Here soon shall lie yours.
He whips a dagger from a case at his side, stoops, grabs her by the hair, and holding her head back, makes as if to plunge the blade into her throat, but he stops short.
How can you look at me like that? Are you not afraid?
No.
You face death, yet you're not afraid.
Do I face death? Will you kill me?
What is to prevent me?
You killed once out of passion, and have suffered nearly 4 centuries for it. Would you dare again?
I would.
Well, then, if I'm to die, I suppose I shall. Being afraid wouldn't help matters. But really, I'm not afraid. At least, not of you.
Eleanor was right.
Eleanor?
My wife. She says I don't seem to frighten anyone anymore, that I can't hack it anymore.
Why do you want to?
I'm a ghost. It's my only reason for existing.
It's not a very good reason, if you ask me.
It's no reason at all, if it comes to that. It's simply part of the punishment I must bear for murdering my wife.
The Lady Eleanor?
Yes.
Why did you murder her?
Jealousy. Unreasoning jealousy. I thought her in love with another man. I found out later how wrong I'd been. But it was too late then. I assure you my remorse was so great I hardly struggled at all when her brothers chained me in this dungeon and starved me to death.
And that's your skeleton?
Yes.
Poor skeleton. Poor ghost. You must be very tired.
As only a man who has not slept for nearly 400 years can be. But there'll be no rest for me, never any rest, until the legend of Canterville Castle is fulfilled.
But I didn't know there was a legend. Jeff never told me.
Oh, yes. And when it is fulfilled, then I shall sleep at last in the little garden far beyond the pine woods.
What garden do you mean?
The garden where the grass grows long and deep, where the hemlock flowers are like great white stars and the nightingale sings all night long. All night long he sings, and the cold, crystal moon looks down, and the yew tree spreads its giant arms over the sleepers.
The sleepers? Do you mean the garden of death?
Yes, death. Would you help me if you could? If you could make the legend come true, would you?
Yes. What is the legend?
It is this. When a golden girl can win prayer from beyond the gates of sin, when the barren almond bears and the girl gives away her tears, then shall all the house be still and peace come to Canterville.
What does it mean?
It means that you must weep with me for my sins because I have no tears, and pray with me for my soul because I have no faith. And then if you have always been sweet and good and gentle, that withered almond tree you have perhaps seen outside the library window.
The barren almond tree, yes.
That tree will bloom again to show...
Yes, to show?
That the angel of death has had mercy on me.
I should like to do that for you.
I know. But you may fail.
Yes.
And if you fail, The tortures of the damned will be yours through all eternity. You must dare to go beyond the gates of sin. You will see fearful shapes, hear wicked voices. If you are the golden girl of the legend, you will not be harmed. But if you're not the golden... I tremble for you. Well, what is your answer?
I will do it.
Think. Be sure. Oh, do be sure.
I am sure.
Then turn, and behold the gates of sin. You shrink back. You are afraid.
The shrieks, the laughter.
Worse lies beyond the gates. Far worse. You are afraid. And I am doomed.
No!
You will go for me. You will go beyond the gates of sin.
For you or any other soul.
And give me your hand. Let me kiss it.
Your fingers cold as ice. Oh, but your lips burn like fire.
Soon perhaps my lips too shall be cold. If you are the golden girl. I pray God you are. For your sake more than mine.
You must release my hand now. If I'm to go beyond the gates.
Yes, I know. Only...
Let go. Let go.
Go! No! Virginia! Come back! Come back!
Mr. Otis, there's nothing that can be done. Virginia's gone. Forever.
Hiram, it's all your fault. If we hadn't ridiculed the ghost, if we had just taken him seriously, all this would have been avoided.
I got to admit you're right, Martha. But that doesn't help matters. All I want now is to get Ginny back. Safe and sound.
Girl, where is she?
She's gone. I've been a fool. I thought she might be the golden girl, the girl of the legend, and I let her go beyond the gates of sin.
Oh, no. If that be so, I am done with you, Simon.
Oh, no, not you.
Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. You're revolting enough to be human.
I tried to stop her at the last moment. But it was too late. Too late.
Simon.
The nightingale. Eleanor. The nightingale.
Oh.
It sings. It sings in the garden of death. It sings.
Oh, and the girl, Virginia. Oh, she succeeded. She must have. Simon, look.
Virginia.
Sir Simon.
You've returned. From beyond the gates of sin, you've returned.
Did you think I wouldn't?
Well, yes, I thought that.
I knew I would. I'd not have gone past those gates if I hadn't felt sure.
Then you are the golden girl of the legend. You are the golden girl.
Are you saved now?
Oh, yes, child, yes. I'm saved. After all these centuries, released. And you're the one who did it. Eleanor, she is the one. What can I do to thank her? What?
What? Oh, Simon, restore her to her own world. What else, dear?
My watch has stopped. What time is it?
It's nearly 3 a.m.
3 a.m? I've got a 9 o'clock committee breakfast. Oh, what am I saying? Business. It becomes a habit. My little girl is gone, but my first thought is if Oh, God in your heaven, what kind of a man am I?
Oh, Hiram, you're a good man. You just lost yourself in making a living.
Yes. Lost myself in making a living. Yeah. We spend too much of our lives making a living. We should spend more of it living. I guess your ghost knows that, Jeff.
I don't know whether he does or not.
I do. What was that? I thought I heard... Why, it sounded like Ginny's voice.
Yes, I thought I heard it too.
You did, Jeff. I'm back. I'm here.
Ginny!
Oh, my God.
Ginny!
Oh, it's Ginny. Oh, my baby.
Ginny.
Oh, Ginny, darling, where have you been? What happened to you?
No,
Please,
don't ask
darling.
me. Don't ask me that ever
Yes,
again.
but Ginny...
Daddy, I love you, but please don't, not ever, try to tell me what to do with my life, my soul, again. Let me do what I want to do, what God put me into the world to do.
You sound strange.
No, not strange. Truthful. I've seen what lies beyond this world, beyond us. And we here on this earth, we think that we're the end of everything, and we're really only the beginning. Daddy. Dad. And Mom. And you too, Jeff. There's so much out there that we don't understand. So much.
Ginny, what did you see?
What's that? Not a bird at this hour of the morning?
It's a nightingale, Mother. And Come to the window. I'm sure we'll see what I expect to see. Yes. There. Look.
At what, Ginny? At what?
The storm is over now. And the moon, a great white moon, sheds its light over the gardens. Look. The almond tree. The barren almond tree.
Why, it's blossomed. I can see the flowers in the moonlight. And that tree, it's part of the legend. For centuries it hasn't bloomed, and legend said it never would until peace came to Canterville.
And peace has come.
Far away, beyond the pine wood, there is a little garden. There the grass grows long and deep. There the hemlock flowers are like great white stars. And the nightingale sings all night long. All night long he sings. And the cold crystal moon looks down. And the yew tree spreads its giant arms over the sleepers.
Jeffrey?
Yes, Ginny?
He's at peace, Jeffrey. The Canterville ghost is finally at peace.
This story, this beautiful story, we owe to a man named Oscar Wilde. Perhaps some of you know the tragic details of the last years of his life. Well, no matter. What's important is what he wrote. Almost 100 years ago. Wrote what entertained you in this past hour. And perhaps enlightened you, too. It is better to live than to make a living. Oscar Wilde is buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery, just outside Paris. I visited his tomb, a tomb over which a sad angel with drooping wings weeps. And yes, I bowed my head, not so much in homage to the man as to the spirit within him, the spirit within all of us, our own private, very private Canterville ghost. Our cast included Arnold Moss, Marion Seldes, Mildred Clinton, William Redfield, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
That was the CBS Radio Mystery Theater with The Canterville Ghost, as originally heard April 15th, 1974. And that wraps up hour number 1, and coming up after the break, we'll hear from our Miss Brooks and Quiet Please. So do not change that dial, and this would be the perfect opportunity for you to refill your snacks and get a refill on your drinks. While in the background, you get to hear these very important messages. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Classic Radio Rewind. I am your host, Barry Slinker, and we will continue our Halloween episodes with an episode from Our Miss Brooks starring Eve Arden. Miss Brooks and her friends are planning a Halloween party at Principal Conklin's house. What could possibly go wrong? So from October 30th, 1949, this is Our Miss Brooks with Halloween Party.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, written by Al Lewis. Well, many of us find it extremely difficult to get up early every morning, but our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, has been doing it for years.
Yes, and I've learned one thing about early rising that's helped me immeasurably. Once I jump out of bed, close the window, and do my setting up exercises, there's only one more thing I want to do, and that's to get right back in bed again. Last Friday morning, though, I was up and almost dressed by the time my landlady knocked on the door.
Time to get up, Connie.
I am up, Mrs. Davis. Come on in. I'm trying to get to school early so I can chat with Mr. Boynton for a few minutes before our first class.
Is Mr. Boynton still as unapproachable as ever, Connie?
I guess so, Mrs. Davis. But you know something? During this past week, I've gotten closer to him than ever before.
Really, dear? How did you do that?
I've been wearing my sneakers to school. I hope I've got time for breakfast before Walter Denton comes to pick me up. There's something he wants to talk to me about before school starts.
Well, he can talk to you at breakfast, Connie. My goodness, you've got to keep your strength up some way. We both know you don't get enough sleep.
Well, I didn't last night. Minerva slept in here with me, and she was very restless.
I don't know what's the matter with that cat lately. Between you and me, Connie, I think she's got something.
Between you and me, I think she's got several.
Maybe it's a mistake to let her get so friendly with the collie next door. They play together all the time, you know.
Oh, so that's the source. Mm-hmm. Minerva had me up half the night with her pounding.
That's just her tail beating on the floor while she's hunting.
Well, I don't mind her tail thumping so much, but every time she catches something with one paw, she applauds with the other 3.
Suppose we join Minerva in the breakfast nook. I've just given her some milk.
Fine, I'll have a saucer full, too.
Sit right down, dear. I'll boil you a couple of eggs.
Just one egg will be plenty, Mrs. Davis.
Well, Oh, Walter... That must be Walter Denton now.
Just 6 eggs will be plenty, Mrs. Davis. The door isn't locked. Come in, Walter.
Hiya, Miss Brooks, Mrs. Davis.
Hello, Walter.
How do you want your eggs, Walter?
Quickly, please.
You had any breakfast yet?
Oh, sure, but it's 7:30 almost, and we eat an awful early breakfast at my place.
How early?
6:45.
I don't know how you're still standing up.
I'll whip up an omelet for all of us.
Miss Brooks, I'd like to ask you about something.
What's that, Walter?
Well, as you know, Halloween is usually celebrated tomorrow night, Saturday. But Harriet Conklin's going up to her folks' bungalow at Crystal Lake for the weekend, so we wondered if it would be all right with you if we celebrated the holiday tonight.
Well, why come to me? Shouldn't you contact the Goblins Union?
We wanted to sort of have a little party. You know, Harriet and my pal Stretch Snodgrass and I, and we were planning on inviting you, too.
Oh? Where were you planning on holding this party, Walter?
At your place.
How nice of you to invite me along. But I'm afraid we couldn't have any Halloween parties here, Walter. After all, I don't own this cottage. I just rent a room from Mrs. Davis.
Oh, we've already got her permission. She's going to the movies tonight. Harriet asked her on the phone yesterday. It's just up to you, Miss Brooks.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not interested in Halloween parties, Walter. I've got quite a bit of work to catch up on, and tonight looks like an ideal time to do it. Sorry, but you'll have to hold your party someplace else.
Gee, Miss Brooks, Harriet and Stretch will be awfully disappointed. And so will Mr. Boynton.
Mr. Boynton?
Yeah. I was talking to him yesterday, and he was saying what swell fun he always thought Halloween was when he was a kid. And then we invited him to the party, too. And he accepted. And now there's no place to have the party.
What's wrong with having the party right here?
Hello, Principal's office. Osgood Conklin himself speaking.
Hello, Osgood. It's me, Martha.
We've been married 18 years, woman. I know your name.
Please, dear, do try not to be so testy. Do you realize that you left home this morning without even saying goodbye?
Well, that's easily remedied. Goodbye.
Wait, Osgood. I just called to remind you about your doctor's appointment this morning. He said he wanted to see you before we go to Crystal Lake tomorrow.
I am well aware of that fact. I've had plenty of time to think about it during the sleepless hours I spent listening to your dog thumping his tail at the foot of our bed all night.
But Prince was so lonesome, dear. After all, we've got each other. He's all alone.
Well, he wasn't alone last night. I never heard such scratching in all my born days. What's he got, anyway?
Well, he can't possibly have anything, dear. You know he doesn't play with other dogs. In fact, he would have died of loneliness last week if I hadn't taken him over to Mrs. Davis's to play with her cat, Minerva.
Well, you've got to keep him away from me. My blood pressure is higher than it's been in years. To make my morning complete, when I bent down to tie my shoelaces, my glasses fell off.
Did they break?
Not until I straightened up and stepped on them.
Well, darling, in a couple of days in Crystal Lake, that will make a new man of you. Now go down to the doctor's and get a nice sedative to take with you.
Very well, Martha. It's a good thing I have an extra pair of glasses with me, or I couldn't find my way to the door.
Now, whatever you do, Osgood, don't break those.
Thank you, my dear. I think that's sterling advice. Goodbye. Oh, it's later than I thought. I'd better hurry.
So you see, Walter, if we all meet in the cafeteria at lunchtime, we can make the plans for... Oh!
Good. Miss Brooks, I presume.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Conklin. I didn't see you coming. Oh, dear, I seem to have broken your glasses. Do you have another pair?
No, Miss Brooks, I haven't. But perhaps I could get you a long stick and let you smash the windows in my office!
You seem to be in quite a hurry, Mr. Conklin. Could I maybe take you somewhere?
Who is speaking?
Hey, it's me, Walter Denton. Your daughter Harriet's dreamboat.
My daughter Harriet's... I'll talk to you later, Miss Brooks. Denton, pick up that shattered glass.
Yes, sir. What should I do with it, Mr. Conklin?
Eat it, you lame-brained dunce!
Gosh, Mr. Conklin's sure in a bad mood today. He looks pretty purple, doesn't he?
Even for him. He certainly is excitable.
Hi, Walter. Oh, hello, Miss Brooks.
Hi.
Hello, Harriet.
Did you run into Daddy yet this morning?
It's in the hands of the insurance company now.
His temper's pretty miserable today.
Yes, I know. Poor Daddy's been depressed all week long. I don't know what it is. We all try to please him.
What he needs is some recreation and diversion. Say, I have an idea.
What is it, Miss Brooks?
Well, instead of my place tonight, why don't we have our Halloween party at your house, Harriet? That way we could surprise your father and cheer him up a little bit.
Wonderful. Miss Brooks, you've done it again.
Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith.
Now, proof that brushing teeth right after eating with Colgate Dental Cream helps stop tooth decay before it starts.
Continuous research, hundreds of case histories, makes this the most conclusive proof in all dentifrice research on tooth decay.
Eminent dental authorities supervised hundreds of college men and women for over 2 years. One group always brushed their teeth with Colgates right after eating. The other followed their usual dental care.
The group using Colgate Dental Cream as directed, using Colgates exclusively, showed a startling reduction in average number of cavities, far less tooth decay. The other group developed new cavities at a much higher rate. No other dentifrice offers proof of these results.
Modern research indicates decay is caused by mouth acids, which are at their worst after meals or snacks. Brushing teeth with Colgates as directed helps remove acids before they harm enamel. Yes, Colgates contains all the necessary ingredients, including an exclusive patented ingredient for effective daily dental care.
So remember, always use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Anxious as I was to get back into Mr. Conklin's good graces, I determined to make the Halloween party Friday night a roaring success. I had asked the kids to meet me in the school cafeteria at lunchtime, and the first one to show up was Madison's star athlete, Stretch Snodgrass. Although a whiz on the football field, Stretch's outstanding scholastic achievement occurred during a test last week when he spelled his name correctly. I was having a cup of coffee when he approached my table.
Here I am, Miss Brooks. Mind if I sit down?
Not at all, Stretch, but wouldn't you like to bring some food over before we discuss the party?
Oh, no, ma'am. I already ate.
Please, Stretch. I've already eaten.
Oh, good. Then we can get right down to business. Walter said he thought we all ought to masquerade as something tonight.
That's a fine idea, Stretch. You could come as a student.
I got my outfit all set, Miss Brooks. I got some chaps home and spurs and 2 6-shooters that shoot real blanks. I'm coming as Hopalong Cassidy. That is, if nobody minds.
Why should anybody mind, unless Roy Rogers shows up?
What are you going to masquerade as, Miss Brooks?
Oh, I haven't made up my mind yet, Stretch. Of course, every good Halloween party should have a witch. Yes, I might come as a witch.
Perfect.
Don't sound so enthusiastic. It's pretty short notice to get a costume made, and I may not...
Why go to all that trouble? Why don't you just wear what you got on?
Big as he is, I'll have to slug him. Now, look, Stretch,
Hiya, Miss Brooks. Stretch. Well, things are sure shaping up. Look at these swell noisemakers I bought this morning.
When did you find time to get all this junk, Walter?
I sneaked out of one of my morning classes.
Walter, you didn't.
Well, it was important, Miss Brooks. Besides, there's no harm done. Nobody even noticed I was gone.
That's what I like, a nice, observant teacher.
Oh, it wasn't the teacher's fault. You were facing the blackboard at the time. Hey, look at this horn. It's got a siren in the mouthpiece. Listen.
Please, Walter, you're in the cafeteria.
So what?
One more blast like that, and the beef stew will pull over to the right. Now tell me, how are you going to the masquerade?
I got a terrific idea, Miss Brooks. I'm just going to put on an old sheet. Do you think Mr. Conklin will get a kick out of me as a ghost?
If he thought it was on the level, it would add 10 years to his life.
What are you coming as, Miss Brooks?
Oh, I haven't quite decided yet. Any suggestions?
Oh, just one. I don't want you to think I'm being fresh or anything, but, well, this is going to be a Halloween party, and, well, I'd be glad to furnish you with a broom.
I guess I'm a natural for it.
Look who's coming over.
Oh, it's Mr. Boynton. Hello, Mr. Boynton.
Hello, Walter.
Hello, Mr. Boynton.
Hello, Stretch. Hello, Miss Brooks.
Hello, Mr. Boynton. Goodbye, Walter. Goodbye, Stretch.
We ain't going nowhere.
Stretch. Don't you know the old expression, two's company, three's a crowd?
Well, sure I do. But there's 4 of us.
Come on, Stretch. We gotta help Harriet figure out a costume for tonight. See you later, folks.
Yeah, see you later, folks.
Oh, so long, boys. Well, Miss Brooks, I think it's a splendid idea you're giving this little surprise party for our principal tonight. It should do him a world of good.
It should do us a world of good, too, if he brightens up a bit. What kind of an outfit do you think you'll wear, Mr. Boynton?
Well, I've got a skeleton costume home that I used to have quite a bit of fun with in my college days. It's just a black, tight-fitting garment with a bunch of bones hanging on it.
Bones?
Yes, they're treated with a phosphorescent paint that makes them glow in the dark. It's quite a startling effect, the more so since I gathered the bones when I was an anatomy student.
From anyone I know?
I don't mean to dwell on it, Miss Brooks, but I find bones a rather fascinating subject, don't you?
That depends on what they're wrapped up in.
Yes. How are you masquerading tonight?
Oh, I don't know. If you're coming as a skeleton, maybe I'll come as a bottle of vitamins. I'm really a little stumped, Mr. Boynton. What do you think I should be?
Well, the two most popular figures associated with Halloween are a black cat and a witch.
And I'm much too tall for a cat. Walter! Oh, Walter! Yes, Miss Brooks? Get a lube job on that broom, boy. Constance Brooks rides tonight.
I'm glad we're going away in the morning, Martha. Dr. Benson told me I'm very close to the breaking point.
Yes. Of course, Osgood.
Don't shout so. He said that some of my trouble was caused by my blood pressure, but that part of it was due to an overactive imagination. He wants me to be calm, relax more. I'd like to see him relax with that recurring dream I've had.
You mean the one where the ghost visits you at night?
Yes. Only the last couple of times it's gotten worse. Instead of a plain ghost, I've been getting one with Walter Denton's head on it.
Really, Osgood, I just don't know what you've got against that poor boy. Harriet's very fond of him.
Then she should see a doctor, too. Where is she, Martha?
Well, she's in her room, dear, getting dressed. She said something about a party tonight.
Parties. It's all kids nowadays think about. Well, there won't be any parties at Crystal Lake. There won't be any nightmares either. Why, Martha, do you realize that while I was sitting in the doctor's office today, I saw a bulldog by his desk?
A bulldog?
It was the shadow of his umbrella stand. But I almost jumped out of my skin before he explained it.
Well, things like that happen to people every day, Osgood.
Not to me, they don't. At least they'd better not. How do you think the Board of Education would like it if they thought one of their principals went round seeing bulldogs?
Just don't mention it to anyone, darling. Now I'm going to get you a glass of warm milk, and you stay right comfy in your chair till I get back.
You're very well. Ed, that thing looked like a bulldog. Martha's right, though. I'd better not mention it to a soul. Now, who in the world can that be? Coming!
Good evening, Mr. Conklin. May I come in?
There's no tactful way I can refuse you admission. Come in, Miss Brooks.
Have the others arrived yet?
Others? What others?
You'll see when they get here. Is Harriet at home?
Yes, she's putting on her party dress.
Oh, then you know about it. It should do you a lot of good, Mr. Conklin. There's nothing like a house full of people to get your mind off yourself.
A house full of, Miss Brooks, is this party to be given in this house?
Of course.
I see. Then if you'll excuse me, I'll just take my hat and coat and beat an orderly retreat.
But, Mr. Conklin...
My doctor has forbidden any excitement whatsoever.
Your doctor? This is a fine time to tell me. I mean, I didn't know you were in such bad shape, Mr. Conklin.
I am on the verge of a nervous collapse, Miss Brooks. But I don't want to spoil everybody's fun. I'll just leave quietly.
Leave? But, Mr. Conklin, where'll you go?
What's the difference where I go? I'll just wander around the park like a homeless gypsy.
You can't do that. You wouldn't look good in earrings. I mean, you're not a well man, Mr. Conklin. Look, Mrs. Davis is going to the movies tonight. Now, why don't you let me drive you over to our place until I can eliminate the horde of guests who are coming here? You'll love it over there, Mr. Conklin. You'll be able to relax completely.
If it will stave off my breakdown, Miss Brooks, it's the least I can do for my family.
Miss Brooks left right after dinner, Mr. Boynton. I guess she forgot to buy a few items for the party tonight. I'm sure she'll be right back.
Fine.
Swell. This way our surprise will work out even better.
Surprise?
Yes, ma'am. We thought we'd try out some of our Halloween tricks on Miss Brooks before we go over to Mr. Conklin's house.
That's a wonderful idea.
I hope I didn't scare you in my ghost outfit.
No, I thought you were the laundry man.
How do you like my costume, Mrs. Davis?
My, you've lost weight, haven't you?
This is a skeleton suit in honor of Halloween.
Isn't that terrifying? And who's this cowboy with you?
I'm Hopalong Cassidy, Mrs. Davis, but I'm really Stretch Snodgrass.
I'd never have known. Well, if you'll all go into the house, I'm sure Miss Brooks will be delighted to see you. I've got to get down to the theater now.
Oh, what movie are you seeing tonight, Mrs. Davis?
Jolson Sings Again.
Again?
I saw it last week also. Have a nice time, children.
What should I do with this bucket of water we're ducking for apples in, Walter?
Oh, just put it down by the piano, Stretch. Now, I'll tell you what we'll do. Before Miss Brooks comes back, let's all hide somewhere so we can really surprise her.
Good idea, Walter. Now, why don't you get behind that couch? Stretch, you hide behind the kitchen door, and I'll get into the hall closet.
Great. Then we'll all come out when I blow this whistle. Okay?
Gotcha, Walter. Hey, look, out the window. Miss Brooks is coming up the walk, and she's got Mr. Conklin with her.
Mr. Conklin? Oh, she probably wanted to get him out of the way while we were getting things ready at his place.
So much the better. We'll surprise both of them at the same time. Now, first I'll put the lights out. Quick, let's get out of sight.
Well, here we are, Mr. Conklin. I guess Mrs. Davis has left for the movies. The lights are all out.
But it does seem quite deserted in here.
I'll turn on this hall light so you can see to hang your things up in the closet. I'll turn some lights on in the living room while you put your hat and coat away.
Thank you, Miss Brooks.
Miss Brooks! Miss Brooks!
What is it, Mr. Conklin? What's the trouble?
Your closet, in the hall. What do you keep in there?
Just my coat, Mr. Conklin.
I see. Tell me, Miss Brooks, is it a long black coat with luminous bones?
Luminous bones? Oh, no. Oh, please wait right here, Mr. Conklin. I'll investigate.
Oh, it's me, Miss Brooks. You should have seen Mr. Conklin's face when
Get behind those other coats immediately, Mr. Boynton.
But, Miss Brooks...
I can't explain now, but don't you dare come out of there until you get a signal.
Well, Miss Brooks, what did you see?
See? I didn't see anything, Mr. Conklin. It must have been your imagination.
My imagination? Then the doctor was right.
What's that, Mr. Conklin?
I'd rather not talk about it, Miss Brooks. If I could just lie down somewhere.
Oh, of course, Mr. Conklin. Just stretch out on this couch. I'll go get another cushion for you.
All right. That's better. I must be quite a sick man. If I weren't sick, I wouldn't be moaning like this. On the other hand, it's better than trying... What am I saying? I'm not the one who's moaning.
I've returned. I've come back.
Who's that? Where are you?
Look behind you. Behind the couch.
Behind the...
Mr. Conklin, are you all right? What happened?
Miss Brooks, how long have I been asleep?
Asleep?
Yeah.
You just hit the couch, Mr. Conklin. Which reminds me, maybe you'd better see a good psychiatrist. This screaming of yours can lead to something dangerous.
Just do me a favor, Miss Brooks. Look behind that couch.
Certainly, sir, if it'll make you feel any better. But I assure you there's absolutely nothing behind this couch. I'm sorry if I startled you, Mr. Conklin, but my cat Minerva's back here.
With a sheet?
She was making her bed. Stay out of sight, Minerva. There's a good Gurga boy. A girl.
If you don't mind, Miss Brooks, I'd like to take a couple of pills my doctor prescribed. May I have some water, please?
Certainly, sir. If you've got an extra pill or two, I'll be happy to join you. Just sit right here, Miss Conklin. I'll go into the kitchen and get some water. No, on second thought, you'd better come with me. I don't want you to get nervous again.
Yes, I think you're right, Miss Brooks. It doesn't do for me to be alone lately.
Now, where's that light switch?
Well, dog might catch if it ain't roundup time.
What was that?
What was what?
Miss Brooks, do you mean to tell me I've actually taken leave of my senses?
Oh, it isn't a real leave, Mr. Conklin. You're just on a weekend pass. Oh, lots of people get temporary hallucinations. Maybe we'd better go back to your house.
Yes, at a time like this, I suppose I should be near my loved one.
Happy Halloween, Mr. Conklin. Look, it's me.
Denton, how did you... What's this?
It's just my coat coming over. Get back to the closet.
It's me, Mr. Conklin. I'm a skeleton, see?
Look at me, Mr. Conklin. I'm Hopalong Cassidy, and I'll plug the first hombre that makes a move.
Snodgrass! Oh, stop that! No, I must be calm. I must control myself.
What's wrong, Mr. Conklin? You don't seem to be enjoying yourself.
Yeah, you act all jumpy and funny. Gosh, Miss Brooks went to a lot of trouble to get this thing organized.
Walter, please.
Oh, Miss Brooks organized it, did she?
Sure, she planned the whole thing.
She deserves every bit of credit.
Well, she's certainly going to get it. Miss Brooks, I want you... Miss Brooks, get your head out of that bucket. This is no time to be ducking for apples.
Who's ducking for apples? I'm trying to drown myself.
Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight, yes, tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives Kay Daumit's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Not a soap, not a liquid. Luster Cream shampoo leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. No special rinse needed after a Luster Cream shampoo. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight, yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, Mr. Conklin was so glad to find out that the things he thought had been happening to him that he excused us all and hurried home. Shortly afterwards, I excused Walter and Stretch, which left just Mr. Boynton, the parlor sofa, and me.
Well, here we are, Miss Brooks. You know, with that lamplight shining on your hair, you're absolutely, well...
Yes, Mr. Boynton?
Yoo-hoo, folks.
What's that?
Look, at the window, it's Mrs. Davis with a pumpkin head.
Just what I needed.
Happy Halloween, Connie. Trick or treat.
I've got a trick, Mrs. Davis. Here's 60 cents. Treat yourself to Jolson Sings Again.
Next
Next week, tune into another Our Miss Brooks show brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, directed by Al Lewis, with music by Wilbur Hatch.
Men, here is actual, factual proof of more comfortable, actually smoother shaves by using Palmolive Lather Shaving Cream. 1,251 men tried the Palmolive Lather way to shave, described on the tube. And no matter how they had shaved before, 3 out of 4 got more comfortable, actually smoother shaves. Try Palmolive Lather Shaving Cream. See if you don't get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves the Palmolive Lather Shaving Cream way.
Be sure to listen to Mr. and Mrs. North Tuesday evening over most of these same stations. And be with us again next week at this same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That was Our Miss Brooks with Halloween Party, as originally heard October 30th, 1949. And lastly on Classic Radio Rewind, we will hear an episode from Quiet Please. A recently deceased person discovers that he's become a ghost. He was murdered, and now as a ghost, he wanders around the town. He doesn't want revenge. He just goes to see the person who murdered him to simply ask why. From October 24th, 1948, this is Quiet Please with Good Ghost.
Quiet, please. The American Broadcasting Company presents Quiet, Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet, Please for today is called Good Ghost.
I never did anything wrong in my life. That's why I was so upset when Schuster murdered me. I'm just standing there minding my own business, and Schuster, he pulls out this cannon, and he points it at me, and it goes boom, and I say, ouch, and I'm lying there. And he walks away down Lake Street towards Michigan Avenue. Yeah, right there on the corner of Lake and Wabash at 1:15 in the morning. Ouch, I said, and I just laid there. After a while, I got up, and I walked away. I was all mixed up. I guess I didn't realize I was dead, because I walked over to Randolph Street. I started up the elevated steps, but something stopped me, something like a rope or something across the bottom of the stair steps, and I couldn't get up. So I looked around to see what it was, and there was nothing. There was a voice speaking kind of in my ear.
You can't go up there, Gus.
That's what the voice said. And there wasn't anybody there. I looked. Well, all right, I says to myself, there's more than one way to skin a cat, so I walked over to State Street and I started down the subway stair. You know what? I couldn't go down there either. There was this same voice whispering in my ear.
You can't go down there, Gus.
Well, I said, where am I going to go? But I didn't hear any answer to that. So I put one foot in front of the other, and you know what I did? I walked. And for the first time in my life, well, for the first time, my feet didn't hurt. So that's one consolation, I said, being a ghost, your feet don't hurt. Well, I was bewildered, see. I walk, and I walk, and I walk, and pretty soon, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm out in Logan Square. And I said to myself, why, Schuster lives around here someplace, don't he? And I am in Schuster's house. See, I was a pretty new, inexperienced ghost then. Gosh, if I'd have known, I wouldn't have had to walk all the way out to Logan Square. I could have flew or whatever it is I do. But I've learned now. I'll tell you about it. Well, like I said, there I am in Schuster's house. Well, you didn't know Schuster, did you? He was laying there, sound asleep on the bed, and he was
pretty good-looking fella in a kind of fat way. He was laying there snoring. He had his hand hanging over the edge of the bed, and I never thought. I just went over and I took hold of his hand, and I said, "Hey, Schuster. Schuster. Hey, Schuster. Schuster, wake up.
Who's that?
Wake up, Schuster. It's me."
No! Who's that?
Well, gee whiz, Schuster, it's bad enough to murder a guy. Do you have to scare the life out of him?
Somebody had hold of my hand.
It was me.
A cold hand.
It was me, I told you.
Who's that?
It's me, Schuster.
That's a hand.
It's Gus.
Gus! Gus!
You awake now?
You get away from me! You're dead!
Yeah, I know it. I didn't mean to wake you up so violent, Schuster.
I'm asleep. I'm dreaming.
No, honest, Schuster. I'm sorry.
I'm hearing things. Oh, why did I knock him off?
Hey.
Huh?
Why did you knock me off?
Is that really you, Gus?
Sure.
Did you come to haunt me?
No, not especially. I was just wondering, why did you shoot me?
I'm going to turn on the light. There ain't nobody here. I had a nightmare. There. You see, you chump? There ain't nobody here.
I'm here.
It was a nightmare. Gus, I hear you.
Sure.
What do you want?
I told you. Why did you kill me?
Will you go away if I tell you?
Well...
It was on account of Ada.
Ada?
Yeah, Ada. Will you go away now and leave me?
Schuster.
Huh?
Schuster, is your intentions towards Ada honorable?
Oh, why, sure, Gus. Will you go away now?
Move over, Schuster. I want to do a little thinking. Well, Schuster, he put his head underneath the covers and he shriveled all up in a knot, and I thought and thought, and he kept shivering and shaking the bed, and so pretty soon I went to sleep. And when I awoke, Schuster was gone. So I got to thinking about Ada. Gee whiz, Ada was cute. I sure did like Ada. Ada always wore hair in a pompadour, and her hair was so black, and her eyebrows were so cute, and she always smelled so nice. Gee, Ada. I always thought Ada liked me pretty much, too. Whenever I had a couple of bucks, I used to take Ada out to the Trianon and dance. She was about 3-4 inches taller than me, but we danced all right together. That's where Schuster run into us at the Trianon. Gee whiz, I never thought Ada'd fall for Schuster. Funny, ain't it? You're always the last one to find out. I thought she liked me. I never even had a chance to be jealous of Schuster. Oh, I sure did like Ada. I was thinking about the time Schuster drove us out to the Forest Preserve, Ada and me, and the three of us had a picnic, weenies, and she made potato salad, and we had a swell time. And then I remember, I didn't notice it then, she kept sitting next to Schuster all the time. Well, I thought, laying there on Schuster's bed, I'm too late. And if Ada likes Schuster, well, all I can do is try to help him out. Schuster, well, I could do without him, but Ada, I want her to be happy. And thinking about it, all of a sudden, I'm in Ada's apartment, and Schuster's there with her, and Ada's crying a little bit.
It sure is too bad, Ada. He was a nice little fella.
I can't hardly believe he's dead, Schuster.
Well, he is.
I'll say I am.
What did you say?
I didn't say nothing.
I thought you did. Oh, poor little fella. To go so sudden.
Too bad.
Gee whiz, Schuster, you done it.
I was so fond of him.
I know you was, Ada.
And now I'm all alone in the world.
Oh, no, you ain't, Ada. I'm here.
Sure, Ada, he's here.
Oh, Schuster. I'm so lonesome.
Put your head on my shoulder, Ada, honey, and leave us weep together.
Oh, Schuster.
And so she put her head on the Schuster's shoulder, but Gee whiz, they didn't weep. He kissed her. And so I come away. After all, how much can you take, huh? Well, so it looks like it's on the up and up, and besides, what could I do? I am dead. So I sat down on a bench in Lincoln Park, and I think, funny, them concrete benches used to feel cold when I sat on them, but now they don't feel cold anymore. I guess because I'm a ghost. Well, I figure I have to talk to Schuster again. What? Well, I figure I have to help him out, help Ada out, I mean. I don't want Ada to go around being unhappy, and so if her and Schuster is going to get married, well, then least I can do is give him a hand. I know Schuster ain't got a quarter, and there's ways a guy in my position can help, see? No, I don't know how I knowed it, but it's true. A ghost can do pretty nearly anything if he works it right. So I wait till night, and I start to walk out to Logan Square. And then I remember I don't have to walk. And zing, I am in Schuster's room. Schuster is sitting there thinking, and I say, Schuster. Hey, Schuster. He don't give me a tumble, but I can see his eyes moving, looking around the room. Hey, Schuster, I say again. I want to talk to you. And you know what he done? He jumped out the window. Well, I'm so surprised I can't even follow him out the window. You know what? That Schuster, he was the hardest guy to haunt I ever seen. And look, I didn't want to do nothing. All I wanted to do was help Ada. Sure, what if he does shoot me? That's over. I gotta help Ada. Heck, I loved Ada, see? A couple of nights later, I seen him get in his car. I got in alongside him, and I figured, this is fine. We're all alone in the car. And then I begin to worry. If I say something while we're driving, he'll probably wreck the car. So I wait till we're stopped by the light at Diversity in Lincoln Park. We're standing still. What can happen? So I put my hand on top of his on the gear shift, and I say, hey, Schuster. Bam, crash, jingle, bounce. He takes his foot off in the clutch, and we're through a high iron fence, and the car is upside down, and Schuster has got a sprained ankle. Gee whiz, I said, I'm a heck of a ghost. But he's laying there, and I think this is a good time to talk to him before the ambulance comes. He can't move. But he crosses me up. He faints. And whilst he's laid up with his ankle all bandaged up, Ada comes and sees him, and the way she puts her arms around him and kisses him, I says, this is no place for me. So I come away again. I couldn't take it. But that only made it worse. I should talk to him and see what I can do for Ada and him. So after a while, he's well, and I see him and Ada every once in a while, and he treated her like, gee whiz, the way I wished I could have treated her. And she ate it up. Well, one night, Schuster goes into a movie. I'd saw the movie before. You got a lot of time on your hands when you're a ghost. Usually, you can get in movies free. I followed him inside, and while he was running the sign on the screen, it said, next week, Hollow Triumph. I lean over close to him, and I say, Schuster. Gee whiz, he went up like a balloon. People was hollering, and he was hollering, and the ushers come and the cops, and they drug him away. You know what the upshot of that was? He kept hollering to the cops that he was haunted, and they thought he was touched in the head, and they put him in a wagon. They took him out to psychopathic for observation. I sure made a mess out of things, didn't I? And all I'm trying to do is be a good guy, a good ghost, I mean. So, come evening out to psychopathic, I go. Boy, what a place. And I hunt high and low for Schuster till it's about 2 o'clock. Then I hear a kind of gargle I think is familiar, and I go through a little door, and, oh, boy, there he is, in a straitjacket. Well, for pity's sake, Schuster, I says. Look, Schuster, stop it. I ain't gonna hurt you. Schuster, listen to me. Schuster, don't you bust something. Now, listen, Schuster. Listen to me. I ain't mad. Nah, Schuster, I ain't mad at all. I want to kill me. What?
Kill me?
Kill you?
Yeah, kill me.
Nah, Schuster, all I want to do is help you. Don't, Schuster. Somebody will hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I'm only allowed to kill one person, see, Schuster? No, you ain't allowed to kill the fella that killed you, see? I can only knock off one fella, and he has to be a bad fella. Well, I know you're kind of bad, but you can't be all bad, Schuster, or else Ada wouldn't love you. Does Ada love you?
Yeah.
And do you love her? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Don't kill me.
What?
Please.
Listen, I said I wasn't going to kill you. I just want to help you.
Yeah?
A ghost can do lots of things, Schuster.
Yeah.
You need money, Schuster?
Yeah.
You broke?
Yeah.
Well, you can't marry Ada without money.
Yeah.
I'll get you the money.
Yeah?
No, I'm not kidding. Only will you promise to marry Ada as soon as you get the money?
Yeah.
Well, I says, okay then, and I reached over and patted him on the forehead, and he heaved himself up and a gag come out of his mouth.
Let me out of here! Help!
So I have to start all over again. I stuff the thing back in his puss, and all he can say is ergo, ergo, and I lay it all out to him again. He was bound and determined I was going to knock him off. He must have had a guilty conscience or something. But it was daylight when I finally sold him a bill of goods. Look, I kept saying, it's Ada I'm thinking of. I want Ada to be happy. I have to help you if I'm going to help Ada, can't you see? And it was, like I said, broad daylight when I took the gag away from him again, and I was all ready to put it back, but...
Okay, guys, okay. I believe you.
You got to believe me.
But you got to remember, if you hurt me, you'll be hurting Ada, guys.
I know it, Schuster. Why else would I go to all this trouble? Heck, Schuster, I loved Ada. And he just looked at me funny, and I said, okay, I'll meet you at Rollo's next Wednesday night. And I come away. Rollo's. I don't suppose you ever been there, huh? Gambling joint. I used to go there once in a while when I was alive. Pick up a couple of dollars shooting craps or something. Schuster goes there a lot, too. I'm standing by the wheel when Schuster comes in. I'm just standing there, and, of course, Schuster can't see me when he comes up. He stood there looking a minute, and Rollo gave him a hello.
Hello, Schuster.
Hi, Rollo.
Get your bets down, gents. Schuster, you gonna play?
17.
What'd you say?
I said you're gonna play. Get your money down.
I said 17.
5 on 17.
All bets down. That's all, gents.
And I left it spin a minute, and I put my finger on the 17, and I stopped it.
17. Here you are, Schuster. Get your bets down, gents.
4.
$4.
$100.
$100.
Oh, pledging, huh, Juicer?
Spin the wheel.
All bets down. Round and round she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows.
The heck nobody knows. I know. She stops on 4.
4. Well, nice going, Schuster.
Yeah, it is nice, ain't it?
11, Schuster.
11. $500.
Take it easy, Schuster.
Spin the wheel. That was an awful short spin, Rollo.
What are you beefing about? It stopped on 4, didn't it?
Hey, Schuster.
What?
Ain't you got enough?
Enough?
To marry Ada? You win 3 times.
Oh, come on, Gus. Let's not quit yet.
Okay. 13.
13. $1,000.
At 4:30 in the morning, Rollo declared that the bank was busted. Schuster took every dime in the joint. Schuster with me to help. And he went out of that place with money sticking out every pocket and his hat. Hey, Schuster, I said.
Wow, Gus, you're terrific. I'm set for life.
You ain't set for life, Schuster, I said. Not yet, you ain't.
What do you mean?
You forgot about Ada.
Ada? Oh, Ada.
Yeah, this dough is to get married on, Schuster, remember?
Yeah, well, what do you know? Pretty near forgot about Ada. Can you imagine that?
And so 2 days afterward, Schuster and Ada drive over to Crown Point to a little justice of the peace, and they get married. Gee whiz, it was a happy day. Ada sure looked pretty with her pompadour and a new dress from Carson Peary's and her eyes shining, and she was nervous and cute. And even Schuster looked pretty good in a double-breasted green suit. And I got sentimental, and I kind of bawled, standing there watching. Only, of course, nobody knowed I was there, and I thought, gee, that might have been me, maybe. Only it's too late.
I do.
And the least I can do is to see that she has everything she wants. I can do that on account I'm a ghost, and I can do practically anything. And there is Ada looking all pink and about to bust. She's so happy, and Schuster holding his arms around her and grinning, and the old J.P. grinning too and looking at the $100 bill. And I couldn't help it. I stepped right up close.
What's the matter, honey?
Oh, I felt something cold on my cheek all of a sudden.
And it was only me kissing the bride. I love you, Ada. Oh, sure, they was as happy as bumblebees. Heck, no, I wouldn't never intrude into their privacy. I never went to their house. But I used to meet Schuster once in a while, and I'd say, Schuster, how they going?
Oh, fine, Gus, fine. Swell, Gus. Ada's very happy.
And I'd always feel glad and happy about it. And then one day I meet Schuster, and I ask him the same question. He kind of stutters and stammers for a minute.
Well, look, Gus, Ada wants a mink coat.
Why don't you get her one?
Well, I'm not holding, Gus. I made a couple of bad investments. And
So Schuster and me, we busted the bank at Rollo's again. And Rollo, he wasn't very happy about it, but what could the man do? It was his business, wasn't it? And Ada was happy, I figured. Schuster hit me again when the Arlington race season started.
Say, Gus, can you do anything about horses?
Like what?
You know.
What's the matter? You broke again?
No, but I kind of like to get a new car for Ada.
A goat by the name of Lollipopsy come in at 134 to 1, and I nearly wore myself out flagging down the other horses. Schuster had $200 on Lollipopsy's nose. Gee whiz, I said Ada ought to get 2 cars. Both of them coronium plated. Schuster said to me, hey, Gus, you see, I was always around someplace. There wasn't no place for me to go. I kept trying the subway and the elevator, but no soap. I was stuck. So I stayed within calling distance. Ada was awful nice. Gee whiz. Schuster said to me, say, Gus.
Say, Gus.
What?
You know the sweepstakes?
Yeah?
Well?
What?
I got a ticket.
Gee whiz, Schuster.
Well, Ada wants a house in Lake Forest. That costs bucks.
Oh, well. Well, Ireland is a nice place, but sorting through all of them ticket stubs to find BB 46, 37, 28, 29 was quite a job of work. What? $110,000? You can buy quite a joint in Lake Forest for that kind of moolah. Oh, boy, I thought Ada's doing all right. And I'm glad, even if Schuster is getting to be kind of a pain in the neck.
Ever think about the stock market, Gus?
No.
Oh, that's where a guy could really clean up.
Or lose his shirt.
Oh, not with my little mascot, my little palsy Wellsy.
Who's that?
You.
Me?
Sure.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, Gus, you can do anything.
Well,
Ada wants to go to Mexico for the summer.
Wow.
Oh, boy, $1 million. Gus, let's get another $1 million.
Another $1 million? What for pity's sake?
Why, for Ada, Gus. Her birthday's tomorrow.
Well, you know what? I forgot that. I used to buy her a box of the Mets candy, or when I had the money, Fannie Mae's. And now I'd forgot her birthday. Gee whiz. Well, First, I went over to LaSalle Street, and I went up to the stock exchange, and I sent Consolidated something up 81 points. And then I said to myself, I just gotta see Ada on her birthday and see how happy she is. Gee, a mink coat and a new automobile. I bet it's a Rolls Royce. And a house in Lake Forest. No, she's in Mexico, I thought. But I'll say happy birthday in Mexican, even if she won't hear it. And so... she wasn't in Mexico. I looked all over Lake Forest, and there wasn't any Schuster living there. And then I just thought, Ada. I want to see Ada. And I was right alongside her. Ada didn't have any mink coat. She didn't have any automobile. She was living in a flat on Taylor Street, and there wasn't any heat in the house. There wasn't anything to eat either. She was laying on a cot, and I hardly even recognized her. The pompadour was all stringy and kind of dirty gray, and her eyes, she had a black eye. She was sick. She was hungry. She was lonesome. She was pretty close to dying. How do you like that? My Ada. And Schuster, the wheel, horses, sweepstakes, the stock market, $1 million. I kissed Ada. And Ada knowed I was there. Ada spoke my name. She laid back on the cot and she cried some more. I couldn't take that. Gee whiz, I come away. Schuster was in Lolo's. Did I tell you Rolo had some very tough customers around? I did. I went up to Schuster and I said, Schuster, I said, Rolo wants to see you in his office.
I'm busy, Gus.
Better go on in, Schuster. There's something for you in there.
Is there? No?
Go see. So Schuster went on in, and I after him.
Hey, Rolo, what do you want? Rolo! Rolo! Rolo!
He's dead, Schuster.
Let me out of here!
No.
Listen, Gus.
Look at that knife in his back, Schuster.
That's my knife.
Got your name on it.
I didn't do it.
I know you didn't. But they'll think you did.
Who will think so?
Ed Ott, the big guy, Sam Harwell, the guy with the brass knucks, Ralph, the guy that bites
but
people.
I didn't do it, guys.
No, I done it, Schuster.
You?
Sure. Remember, I told you I was allowed to knock off one guy. One bad guy.
You can't.
Rolo was an awful bad guy, Schuster. So are you, for that matter. And them guys liked Rolo an awful lot, Schuster. What they'll do to a guy they think killed him.
Let me out of here, guys.
The door's locked from the outside, Schuster. The door's locked. The tough boys are coming. Can you pray, Schuster?
Guys! Please! Guys!
Not to me, Schuster. So long, lad. And I walked out just as the tough guys, the bodyguard of the dead man, started hammering on the door. I could still hear Schuster crying and moaning in there. And you know what? Out there in the big room, there was a set of stairs I never seen before. I started up the stair steps, and there wasn't anybody to stop me. And I climbed up and up and up, and the stairway went right on up ahead of me. And there was somebody at the top. Black pompadour, shining eyes. What? I'm not such a bad ghost after all. Am I? The title of today's Quiet Please story is Good Ghost. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper. The man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And Murray Forbes was Schuster, Ada was Ruth Last, and Rollo was played by Arthur Cole. As usual, music for Quiet Please is by Albert Berman. Now, for a word about next week, here is our writer-director, my good friend Willis Cooper.
Thank you for listening to Quiet Please. For next week, I have a story for you that's called Calling All Souls.
And so, until next week at this same time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
And now, a listening reminder. The war against organized rackets makes for exciting, dramatic entertainment. And you can enjoy it every Sunday afternoon over your ABC station when David Harding, counter-spy, becomes involved in another daring adventure with the underworld. Don't miss this afternoon's story. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
WJZ, New York's first station. WJZ AM and FM.
That was Quiet Please with Good Ghost, as originally heard, October 24th, 1948. I will be right back in just a moment. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind. A programming reminder, coming up in just over 2 weeks is Old Time Radio USA's annual Halloween Spooktacular. Halloween Spooktacular is a 3-day event that will kick off Tuesday, October 29th at 6 a.m. Eastern Time with the complete 52-part George Edwards serial of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Later in the day, after Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, we'll continue with a 12-hour marathon of The Witch's Tales. And the next day, on October 30th, Old Time Radio USA will celebrate the 86th anniversary of the Mercury Theater on-the-air broadcast of The War of the Worlds. A long-standing tradition of Old Time Radio USA is to broadcast in a back-to-back format this episode all day long. And then wrapping up the Halloween tradition on October 31st with a 24-hour marathon of Lights Out. So mark your calendars for this 3-day annual Halloween Old Time Radio event. We've made an important programming update to the WOTR radio network. Radio Mystery Theater USA has been rebranded to better serve you, our valued listeners. After careful consideration and recognizing that the limited interest in the original format, we've decided to shift gears in order to bring you an even more thrilling experience. Introducing Nightmare Radio USA, your new home for spine-chilling sci-fi, heart-pounding thrillers, and hair-raising horror shows that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Tune in and let the nightmares begin, only on Nightmare Radio USA. Nightmare Radio USA can be found wherever you listen to your favorite WOTR radio network stations. And with that brings this edition of Classic Radio Rewind to a close. Join us next week as we continue with more Halloween favorites from the golden age of radio. And until then, from Classic Radio Rewind and the WOTR Radio Network, this is Barry Slinker saying goodbye for now.
Classic Radio Rewind is a production of the WOTR Radio Network. For more Classic Radio Rewind, and to listen to any of the WOTR Radio Network stations, go to www.wotrradionetwork.com.